The Kansas City Chiefs, perennial Super Bowl contenders, entered the 2025 NFL Draft with a clear mission: bolster their roster to support quarterback Patrick Mahomes and address key areas of need after a disappointing Super Bowl 59 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. General Manager Brett Veach, known for his savvy draft maneuvers, orchestrated a draft class that prioritized the trenches, added defensive depth, and sprinkled in offensive playmakers. With 7 picks, the Chiefs aimed to blend immediate contributors with high-upside prospects for long-term success. This article provides an in-depth analysis of each selection, their fit within the Chiefs system, and bold predictions for their impact in the 2025 season and beyond. Draft context and team needs. The Chiefs' 2024 season ended with a 40-22 Super Bowl loss to the Eagles, exposing vulnerabilities in pass protection, pass rush, and offensive dynamism. Patrick Mahomes faced pressure on over 40% of his dropbacks, and the offensive tackles struggled against Philadelphia's relentless front. The defensive line, despite Chris Jones' dominance, lacked consistent pass rush support, with George Karlaftis being the only defensive end with notable production, 8 sacks. Free agency losses, including defensive tackles Tershawn Wharton and Derrick, further thinned the interior line. Offensively, the Chiefs needed depth at running back and additional playmakers to complement their stacked receiver room. With 8 picks, including 4 in the top 100, Veach targeted offensive tackle, defensive line, cornerback, wide receiver, linebacker, and running back as priority positions. Round 1, Pick 32, Josh Simmons, OT, Ohio State. Analysis. The Chiefs traded back 1 spot with the Philadelphia Eagles, securing an additional 5th-round pick, later traded, while selecting Ohio State's Josh Simmons at number 32. Simmons, a 6 feet 5 inches, 317-pound tackle, was a projected top 10 pick before a torn patellar tendon cut his 2024 season to 6 games. His pre-injury tape showcased elite athleticism, flexibility, and balance, earning an 82.2 PFF pass-blocking grade on true pass sets. The Chiefs, desperate for a long-term left tackle, saw Simmons as a potential cornerstone. Despite signing veteran Jalen Moore in free agency, Simmons' upside makes him a candidate to compete for the starting role immediately. Fit. Simmons' movement skills and knee bend align perfectly with Andy Reid's pass-heavy offense, which requires tackles to handle speed rushers and protect Mahomes' blind side. His experience at both left and right tackle, from San Diego State, offers versatility, especially with right tackle Jawan Taylor's struggles, 42 penalties over 2 seasons, and likely release in 2026. The Chiefs' thorough medical evaluation, including a pre-draft visit, confirmed Simmons' knee will be ready for training camp, reducing risk. He could challenge Moore for the starting left tackle job or develop as a swing tackle in 2025. Bold prediction. Simmons wins the starting left tackle job by Week 5, significantly reducing Mahomes' pressure rate and earning Pro Bowl consideration as a rookie. Round 2, Pick 63, Omar Normanlott, DT, Tennessee. Analysis. With their second-round pick, the Chiefs addressed their depleted defensive interior by selecting Tennessee's Omar Normanlott. At 6 feet 2 inches, 291 pounds, Normanlott is slightly undersized but boasts explosive athleticism, leading all defensive tackles with an 18.9% pass rush win rate in 2024. His selection was polarizing. Pro Football Focus ranked him 27th overall, while NFL.com's Daniel Jeremiah omitted him from his top 150. The Chiefs, needing a replacement for Wharton, valued Normanlott's ability to disrupt on passing downs alongside Chris Jones. Fit. Under defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs prioritize penetrating defensive tackles who can collapse pockets. Normanlott's quick first step and hand-fighting skills make him a natural fit as a rotational pass rusher. However, his inconsistent run defense and undisciplined tendencies require coaching to maximize his potential. Pairing him with Jones, who commands double teams, should create opportunities for Normanlott to exploit one-on-one matchups. Bold prediction. Normanlott records 5.5 sacks as a rookie, becoming a key sub-package rusher, but the Chiefs pursue a veteran defensive tackle in the preseason to bolster run defense. Round 3, Pick 66, Ashton Gillette, DE, Louisville. Analysis. The Chiefs continued fortifying their defensive line with Louisville's Ashton Gillette, a high-motor edge rusher with 41 tackles for loss and 26.5 sacks over 55 college games. Despite lacking elite length or speed, Gillette's relentless effort and 24.5 tackles for loss over his final 2 seasons impressed Kansas City's scouting team. Selected at number 66, He addresses the Chiefs' need for pass rush depth beyond Karlaftis, as Mike Dana, Felix Anyadikuzoma, and Charles Omenihu combined for only 7 sacks in 2024. Fit. Gilat's work ethic and disruptive play style align with Spagnuolo's aggressive defensive scheme. He projects as a rotational edge rusher who can set the edge in run defense and pressure quarterbacks on passing downs. His fit as a culture add enhances the Chiefs' defensive identity, though his ceiling may be limited to a high-end role player rather than a star. Bold prediction. Gilat notches 4 sacks and earns a starting role by mid-season, complementing Karlaftis and boosting the Chiefs' pass rush efficiency. Round 3, Pick 85, Noel Williams, CB, California. Analysis. Trading up with the New England Patriots, the Chiefs snagged California cornerback Noel Williams at number 85. Williams, a physical outside corner with 7 interceptions in 2024, fills a depth need behind Trent McDuffie and free agent signing Christian Fulton. His length, speed, and toughness make him a schematic fit for Spagnuolo's man-heavy coverages, and his special teams prowess adds immediate value. Fit. With Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams entering contract years, Williams provides insurance and competition as a 3rd or 4th cornerback. His aggressive style suits Kansas City's pressman approach, and his special teams contributions ensure early playing time. He could challenge Watson for snaps if he adapts quickly to the NFL. Bold prediction. Williams secures the CB3 role by Week 8 and leads all rookie cornerbacks with 3 interceptions, thriving in Spagnuolo's system. Round 4, Pick 133, Jalen Royals, WR, Utah State. Analysis. Utah State's Jalen Royals, selected at number 133, was a steal, with many analysts projecting him as a Day 2 pick. Despite playing only 7 games in 2024 due to injury, Royals racked up 55 catches for 839 yards, averaging 7.9 yards after catch, 11th among FBS receivers with 50-plus targets. His smooth footwork, physicality, and tracking ability make him a versatile threat, drawing comparisons to Rashee Rice. Fit. The Chiefs' receiver room, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Juju Smith-Schuster, is crowded, limiting Royals' immediate offensive role. However, his yards-after-catch ability addresses Kansas City's need for short-area playmakers against deep shells. His biggest impact may come on special teams, potentially as a kick returner, with a chance to develop into a WR2 by 2026. Bold prediction. Royals leads the Chiefs in kick return yards and scores a special teams touchdown, carving out a niche role while learning behind veteran receivers. Round 5, Pick 156, Jeffrey Bassa, LB, Oregon. Analysis. Oregon's Jeffrey Bassa, a former safety turned linebacker, was selected at number 156 after a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. With 236 career tackles and 43 starts, Bassa brings versatility, speed, and special teams experience. His transition from safety enhances his coverage skills, addressing a gap in the Chiefs' linebacker core behind Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, and Leo Chenal. Fit. Bassa's coverage ability makes him a candidate for sub-package roles, particularly in dime packages, while his special teams background ensures early contributions. With Tranquill turning 30, Bassa provides depth and insurance, though his lack of elite size may limit his every-down potential. Bold prediction. Bassa earns 100 defensive snaps in sub-packages by season's end and becomes a core special teams player, setting the stage for a larger role in 2026. Round 7, Pick 228, Brashard Smith, RB, SMU. Analysis. The Chiefs traded up with the Patriots to select SMU's Brashard Smith at number 228. A former wide receiver who transitioned to running back, Smith offers speed and pass-catching ability, drawing comparisons to Jerick McKinnon. His 2024 production and 40-yard dash at the Combine underscored his explosiveness, making him a late-round gem in a deep running back class. Fit. With Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, and Kareem Hunt in the backfield, Smith faces competition but fills a need for a dynamic, receiving back. His speed could make him a factor in the return game, and his versatility aligns with Reid's creative play calling. The Chiefs' low explosive rush rate, 33 runs of 10-plus yards in 2024, highlights the need for Smith's big play potential. Bold prediction. Smith emerges as the primary third-down back, catching 25 passes and scoring 2 receiving touchdowns while contributing as a returner. Overall draft grade and outlook. The Chiefs' 2025 draft class earns an A for its blend of high-upside starters, Simmons, Normanlott, immediate contributors, Gillette, Williams, and developmental playmakers, Royals, Bassa, Smith. Veach's focus on the trenches addresses critical needs, while his mid to late round selections add depth and special teams value. The class's success hinges on Simmons' health and Normanlott's consistency, but the potential for multiple starters and role players is evident. Strengths: premium positions, Simmons, OT, Normanlott, DT, and Gillette, DE, target high-value roles, strengthening both lines. Value picks: Royals and Smith were steals at their draft slots, offering immediate and long-term upside. Scheme fit: Williams and Bassa align with Spagnuolo's defensive preferences, ensuring seamless integration. Concerns: injury risk: Simmons' knee and Royals' limited 2024 sample size introduce uncertainty. Development needs: Normanlott's rawness and Bassa's size may delay their impact. Missed opportunities: not addressing running back earlier or adding more offensive line depth could strain the roster if injuries occur. 2025 impact: expect Simmons to solidify the left tackle position, reducing Mahomes' pressure rate and unlocking the offense's potential. Normanlott and Gillette should bolster the pass rush, easing. Prediction: the Chiefs re-sign Watson for depth, let Hopkins and Hardman walk, and pursue a mid-tier free agent like Moore to add speed, while relying on rookie Jalen Royals to emerge. Defensive line: Wharton, Carolina, 3-year, $45 million, and Derrick, New York Jets, departed, thinning the interior line. Omenihu, coming off a torn ACL, signed a 1-year, $7 million deal to stay, boosting the pass rush alongside George Karlaftis. Pennell, a run-stuffing nose tackle, returned on a 1-year deal, but the Chiefs added Jerry Tillery for versatility. With Chris Jones aging, 31 in July, more depth is needed. Prediction: the Chiefs target a budget-friendly defensive tackle like Amir Abdullah in free agency and draft a high-upside prospect to groom behind Jones. Hunt's inspired 2024 return, 743 yards, 6 TDs, makes him a candidate to stay, but at 30, he's not a long-term solution. Elijah Mitchell, signed for $3.5 million, adds speed but has injury concerns. With Isaiah Pacheco's contract expiring in 2025, the Chiefs need youth. Prediction: Hunt returns on a 1-year, $4 million deal, but rookie Brashard Smith takes over as the third down back by mid-season. The offensive line, particularly at left tackle, was a disaster in 2024, with Mahomes sacked a career-high 47 times. For players, Kingsley Suamataia, Wanya Morris, DJ Humphries, and Joe Thuney started at left tackle, none lasting long. The Chiefs signed Jalen Moore to a 2-year, $30 million deal and drafted Josh Simmons in the first round, signaling a long-term fix. However, right tackle Jawan Taylor's penalties, 12 in 2024, and $24 million cap hit in 2026 raise concerns. Inside, trading Thuney to Chicago freed $16 million, allowing the franchise tag for Smith, but depth remains thin. Prediction: Simmons beats out Moore for the starting left tackle job by week 3, Taylor is cut in 2026, and the Chiefs draft a guard in round 2 to replace Thuney long-term. The secondary, a strength under Spagnuolo, faces depth questions. Cornerback Christian Fulton, signed to a 2-year, $20 million deal, pairs with Trent McDuffie, but Fulton's injury history, never played more than 15 games, is a risk. Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams are free agents in 2026, and rookie Noel Williams adds depth. At safety, Reed's exit leaves Hicks, Cook, and Connor, with veteran Mike Edwards on a 1-year deal. Spagnuolo's system thrives on versatile defensive backs, but another corner could solidify the unit. Prediction: Fulton stays healthy, playing 16 games, and Williams emerges as the CB3, but the Chiefs sign a veteran corner like Charvarius Ward for insurance. Kelsey, turning 36 in October, had a quiet Super Bowl, 4 catches, 39 yards, and faces retirement speculation. His 2024 production, 68 catches, 736 yards, was solid but down from his peak, and the Chiefs re-signed long snapper James Winchester, suggesting continuity for the special teams trio with Harrison Butker and Matt Araiza. Kelsey's $17 million cap hit in 2025, the final year of his deal, complicates matters. Prediction: Kelsey returns for one final season, takes a pay cut to a 1-year, $10 million deal, and mentors a day 3 tight end draft pick. Veach's history of finding value, Reed, Omenihu, and Fulton, will be tested. With cap constraints, under-the-radar targets like running back Javonte Williams, wide receiver Elijah Moore, or linebacker Eric Kendricks could provide cost-effective upgrades. The Chiefs avoided splashy signings like Stephon Diggs, prioritizing fit over name recognition. Prediction: Veach signs Williams, RB, 1 year, $2.5 million, and Kendricks, LB, 1 year, $3 million, adding depth without breaking the bank. The Chiefs' 2025 free agency strategy earns AB+4 addressing immediate needs, left tackle, cornerback, running back, while retaining key pieces, Smith, Bolton, Brown. However, losing Reed and Wharton stings, and the receiver room remains a work in progress. Veach's cap management and draft success, Simmons, Norman Lott, and Royals, complement the free agency moves, setting up a 2025 roster capable of another Super Bowl run. Offensive line stability: Moore and Simmons solidify left tackle, protecting Mahomes. Defensive core: Bolton, Fulton, and Omenihu maintain Spagnuolo's elite defense. Cap creativity: restructuring Mahomes and Jones deals maximizes flexibility. Receiver depth: beyond Worthy and Rice, the group lacks proven production. Defensive line gaps: Wharton and Nady's exits leave holes next to Jones. Kelsey's future: uncertainty at tight end could disrupt offensive rhythm. Expect Moore and Simmons to cut Mahomes' sack total to under 30, unlocking the offense. Bolton and Fulton anchor a top-5 defense, while Mitchell and Smith add backfield dynamism. Brown and Royals contribute 1,200 combined receiving yards, easing Kelsey's burden. The Chiefs finish 12-5, reclaiming the AFC West but falling in the AFC Championship to Buffalo. If Simmons becomes a Pro Bowl tackle and Bolton anchors the defense, the Chiefs' core, Mahomes, Jones, McDuffie, and Humphrey, keeps them contenders through 2027. However, receiver and defensive line depth must be addressed in the 2026 draft to sustain the dynasty. Veach's ability to balance short-term wins with long-term planning will define Kansas City's next chapter. The Kansas City Chiefs' 2025 free agency period is a high-stakes balancing act. With Mahomes in his prime, the pressure is on to maximize the championship window. By retaining Bolton and Smith, signing Moore and Fulton, and adding depth with Mitchell and Pennell, Veach has laid a strong foundation. Yet, questions linger about Kelsey's future, the receiver room's reliability, and the defensive line's depth. As Chiefs Kingdom looks to rebound from Super Bowl 59, the answers to these big questions will determine whether Kansas City can reclaim the Lombardi Trophy in 2025. The AFC West has been dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs for nearly a decade, with Patrick Mahomes leading the franchise to 9 consecutive division titles, 4 Super Bowl appearances, and 3 championships since 2016. As of May 7, 2025, Mahomes, at 29, remains in his prime, but the Chiefs' dynasty will not last forever. With the quarterback's contract running through 2031 and his competitive drive showing no signs of slowing, the post-Mahomes era may not arrive until the mid-2030s. When it does, the AFC West, comprising the Chiefs, Denver Broncos, Los Angeles Chargers, and Las Vegas Raiders, will undergo a seismic shift. This article explores the future of the division in a post-Mahomes world, analyzing each team's trajectory, potential successors, and the factors that will shape the competitive landscape. Since becoming the chief starter in 2018, Mahomes has redefined quarterback play, amassing over 28,000 passing yards, 219 touchdowns, and a 103.9 passer rating by the end of the 2024 season. His ability to extend plays, deliver under pressure, and elevate teammates has made Kansas City the gold standard in the AFC West. The Chiefs' infrastructure, General Manager Brett Veach's shrewd roster building, Andy Reid's offensive genius, and Steve Spagnuolo's defensive schemes, has sustained their dominance despite roster turnover. However, Mahomes' eventual retirement, whether in 2031 or later, will leave a void no team in the division is currently equipped to fill. The post-Mahomes era will hinge on quarterback succession, organizational stability, and the ability of rivals to capitalize on Kansas City's transition. The Chiefs' 2025 roster is built around Mahomes, with young stars like center Creed Humphrey, cornerback Trent McDuffie, and wide receiver Xavier Worthy locked in through at least 2027. The 2025 draft class, headlined by left tackle Josh Simmons and defensive tackle Omar Normanlot, addresses long-term needs, while free agency moves, like signing Jalen Moore and re-signing Nick Bolton, bolster the core. However, aging veterans like tight end Travis Kelce, 36 in 2025, and defensive tackle Chris Jones, 31, signal a need for succession planning. When Mahomes retires, the Chiefs face the daunting task of replacing a generational talent. Their strategy will likely mirror successful transitions like Green Bay's from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers or Indianapolis from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, albeit with mixed results. Veach's draft acumen suggests a proactive approach, potentially targeting a quarterback in the late 2020s to groom behind Mahomes. Carson Wentz, signed as a backup in 2024, is a stopgap at best, and no current roster player projects as a successor. The Chiefs' organizational stability, ownership's willingness to spend, Reid's coaching tree, and a robust scouting department gives them an edge. They could trade up for a top quarterback prospect around 2030, leveraging future picks as they did for Mahomes in 2017. Alternatively, they might pursue a veteran free agent, though the post-Mahomes cap situation, his 2031 cap hit is $71.9 million, could complicate matters. Prospects like Texas Arch Manning or USC's Julian Lewis, both projected as 2027 to 2029 draft eligibles, could be targets if Kansas City plans ahead. Quarterback void. No quarterback in the division's pipeline matches Mahomes' ceiling, risking a regression to mediocrity. Aging core. Humphrey and McDuffie will be in their 30s by 2031, requiring new foundational pieces. Rival resurgence. Denver, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas are building young rosters that could peak as Kansas City transitions. The Chiefs draft a quarterback in the first round of the 2029 NFL Draft, grooming him for 2 seasons behind Mahomes. Post-2031, they remain competitive, winning 9 to 10 games in their first non-Mahomes season, thanks to a strong defense and offensive line, but miss the playoffs. The Broncos, under head coach Sean Payton, are trending upward in 2025. Rookie quarterback Bo Nix, the number 12 pick in 2024, showed promise with 3,811 passing yards and 22 touchdowns in his debut season, earning Payton's trust. General Manager George Paton has rebuilt the roster with young talent like cornerback Patrick Surtain II, edge rusher Nick Bonitto, and wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr., all under contract through at least 2026. Free agency additions like defensive tackle Arik Armstead and running back Audric Estime bolster a gritty identity. Denver is best positioned to challenge Kansas City in the post-Mahomes era. Nix, 25 in 2025, could be a top 10 quarterback by 2030 if he continues developing under Payton's tutelage. Payton's track record with Drew Brees suggests he can maximize Nix's accuracy and decision-making. The Broncos' defense, led by Surtain and Bonitto, projects as a top 5 unit through the late 2020s, providing a foundation to compete even if Nix plateaus as a game manager. Denver's draft capital, 5 picks in the first 3 rounds of 2026, offers flexibility to add a star playmaker or reinforce the offensive line. Ownership's financial backing, led by the Walton Penner Group, ensures aggressive free agency moves, potentially targeting receivers or edge rushers as the Chiefs weaken. If Nix becomes a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, Denver could dominate the AFC West by 2032. Nix's ceiling. If Nix remains a solid but unspectacular starter, Denver may need another quarterback to compete for Super Bowls. Payton's tenure. Payton, 61 in 2025, may retire before the post-Mahomes era, disrupting continuity. Depth concerns. Injuries to key players like Surtain could expose a lack of high-end backups. By 2033, Denver wins 3 straight AFC West titles, with Nix emerging as a top 8 quarterback and Surtain anchoring a defense that leads the NFL in takeaways. The Chargers, led by head coach Jim Harbaugh and quarterback Justin Herbert, are a wild card in 2025. Herbert, 27, signed a 5-year, $262.5 million extension in 2023, tying him to Los Angeles through 2029. His 2024 season, 4,200 yards, 28 touchdowns, reaffirmed his elite arm talent, but the Chargers' 9-8 record and wild card exit exposed roster holes. Harbaugh's run-heavy philosophy, paired with additions like running back J.K. Dobbins and rookie wideout Ladd McConkey, has built a physical identity. The 2025 draft, including edge rusher Chris Braswell, adds defensive depth. Herbert, likely 35 by the time Mahomes retires, could still be a top-tier quarterback in 2031, giving the Chargers a head start in the post-Mahomes era. Harbaugh's emphasis on the trenches, evidenced by signing center Bradley Bozeman and drafting tackle Jordan Morgan, ensures Herbert's protection and a sustainable run game. Young defenders like Braswell and safety Alohi Gilman project as long-term starters, though the secondary needs reinforcement. The Chargers' challenge is depth and consistency. General manager Joe Hortiz must avoid the boom-or-bust cycles that plagued the franchise pre-Harbaugh. With Herbert's contract escalating to a $60 million cap hit by 2029, cap management will be critical. Los Angeles could target a successor for Herbert in the late 2020s, potentially a mobile quarterback to fit Harbaugh's evolving scheme, like Oklahoma's Jackson Arnold. Herbert's health, recurring injuries, ankle, shoulder, could shorten his prime, forcing an earlier transition. Harbaugh's age, at 61 in 2025, Harbaugh may not coach into the 2030s, risking a schematic shift. Cap constraints. Herbert's deal limits flexibility to sign marquee free agents. The Chargers reach the AFC Championship in 2032, with Herbert throwing for 4,500 yards, but lose to Denver as their lack of defensive depth proves costly.